I don't know what the recommendation is.
I remember the recommendation quite clear. They offered me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Okay, no. All right, Mr. Resto. So Mr. Resto, you have two cases. You have case number. You hear me?
Yes,
okay.
I hear you.
So you're before the court on 2019 CR 04954 for driving on a suspended or revoked license, no license, failure to display license, or failure to have license on person. I'm not sure, it cuts off, and no tag or expired or invalid tag. So that's on the first case. On the case from 2020 03114, you have a suspended or revoked license. You're represented by Lister and Holt on one of the cases, but not on the other. Did you want Lister and Holt to represent you, or did you want to represent yourself?
I'll represent myself.
On both cases?
Yes, ma'am. I have a quick question as far as law concerned when it comes to driver's license.
Okay.
Okay, you're only allowed to have one driver's license, and I have an Alabama driver's license. So when I get pulled over, I actually showed them my Alabama driver's license, and it's current. It's the most current, and so they make a determination if they should go off the Georgia driver's license or the Alabama driver's license. And when I present the Alabama driver's license, they let me go because my Alabama license is valid, and you're only allowed to have one. And I had Alabama license first, so my
I believe this sounds like a not guilty.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're stepping into Judge Tammy Hayward's courtroom, where yet another sovereign citizen tries to dodge accountability. From the jump, the judge lays out the charges in crystal detail, while the defendant fidgets with excuses. The tension sets in fast, multiple cases, multiple violations, and a defendant already signaling he's ready to go down the sovereign citizen rabbit hole. This is the perfect storm brewing in open court.
So, Mr. Resto, what Mr. Taylor is saying is this is something that you could prove at trial. If you present that information at trial, then that means you want to go to trial instead of taking a plea. I don't know what the recommendation is, and I don't know.
Well, the recommendation was, I think I've been dealing with this case for an awful long time now, so
Yeah.
I don't really want to go to trial. I just want to get it behind me. But I think that the recommendation, I remember the recommendation quite clear. They offered me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Okay, no, Mr. Resto, it's more than that. So let me explain why I know it's more than that. So the basic fines and fees for driving on a suspended license is the first time in 5 years. If you get one, then you can enter a NOLO plea if you have a NOLO plea eligible to you, and then the fine is $500. But if you get a second one, the fine goes to $1,000. A third one, the fine goes to $1,500 and 10 days mandatory jail time. You have a second one, which means that you might be able to enter a NOLO to the first one, but then the second one is outstanding. So when you took a plea to the second one, that would definitely suspend your license. So that's what's on the table.
Okay.
And the fines are hefty. So you would get a plea on the first one, and that's a $500 fine, which is $737.50. But the next one is going to be $1,000 in addition to that, and that's $1,420. So we're looking at almost $2,200.
Your Honor, is Mr. Resto represented on the particular case that we're referring to?
Well,
I want to address him directly if he's represented, because this is a serious matter.
I get you. So that's why I'm saying, Mr. Resto, you have representation. I can allow you to be represented on both cases, and they can help you work this out. But understand
that I was already represented by Lister and Holt, and we kind of been going back and forth with the district attorney's office for a while, and they've been giving me recommendations, and I still didn't take it, but they've been giving me recommendations. I don't know what's changed, but it definitely wasn't $2,000.
talk to your attorney and let them tell you what the recommendation they have on the table, okay? Because the recommendation, if you're represented, even if you're only represented on one case, the rec is probably going to come to your attorney.
Okay, now if I enter like an oral motion of dismissal based on constitutional grounds, are you standing on your constitutional oath?
Now watch as the defendant pulls his first wild card. He argues his Alabama license magically erases Georgia's suspension, as if crossing state lines rewrites the law. This is textbook sovereign citizen logic. Take a shred of truth and twist it into nonsense. He seems convinced that simply flashing an out-of-state ID lets him off the hook, but everyone in the courtroom knows that's not how reality works. His case begins unraveling right here.
So I have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and to make sure that I treat people as the law would direct me to do so. So,
okay. Well, I asked this question previously when I was in your courtroom one day in regards to the right to travel under the 14th Amendment, stating that citizens do not need a permit to travel with a horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile without interference by police. And I was on a public highway actually when I got pulled over.
okay, so that's not actually in the Constitution.
And
So
I don't
the right to
believe
travel, the right
automobiles
to
were
travel.
allowed when the 14th Amendment was ratified.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
I just wanted to point out to the court that automobiles hadn't been invented when the 14th Amendment was ratified. That
Yeah,
may
it says automobile, horse, drawn wagon, or carriage.
Okay, so
an automobile is not necessarily a car if it's a household good. It's just a form of transportation. It doesn't matter if it's an automobile, horse, drawn wagon, or carriage, because it's still a form of transportation, and citizens have the right to travel without interference by police. So I don't even know how the police are even allowed to interfere with travel when I'm not using my vehicle for commerce.
Your Honor,
And it's
Hold on, Mr.
totally
Taylor.
private household good.
Okay, so Mr. Resto, if somebody drove 100 miles an hour into the back of your vehicle and killed your a family member, would you want the police to interfere?
That's a murder. I mean, that's if someone got killed.
But they're traveling. You can't interfere with somebody traveling.
No, I mean you can't. It's stating that a police just can't interfere with your traveling, like pulling you over for a traffic violation or a tag.
But you want them to interfere if
now,
somebody.
Now, if you murder somebody because of
Say you don't murder them. Say you just hurt them. Say you just damaged the vehicle. You don't want the police to interfere.
No. That's when it almost becomes like an accident or a crime or whatnot. So the police can. That's not really an interference. An interference with your traveling, not an interference when two citizens engage in an accident. It's interfering with you just traveling.
The judge isn't having it. She patiently explains the escalating fines, fees, and even jail time tied to repeated violations. Her breakdown is clear, precise, and backed by law, while the defendant squirms under the weight of facts. This is where the courtroom dynamic shifts. She draws a sharp line between sovereign fantasy and legal reality. Every word she speaks reminds us that the law isn't negotiable, no matter how loudly you argue.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Now, police officers, as far as public servants, they have a duty to serve to the people. So if a car accident occurs, then of course public servants, as far as ambulance, as far as firemen, they will come to the scene just as a service. But for you to just interfere in my traveling is actually a violation of the Constitution.
Well, sir, the Constitution and the cases that have come out of the constitutional jurisprudence allow cities and states and municipal organizations to regulate travel for the benefit of the citizens. So they can put reasonable regulations on travel, meaning you can have a license. They can grant you the privilege of having a license to drive. They can regulate how your license is seen. If you don't have a license, or if your license is suspended, they can intervene to take your license away or your privilege to drive away. It is a crime. You can be convicted of not driving under a proper license. So the government is allowed to intervene in a lot of ways with people traveling. So I'm not sure where this information comes from, but there's a lot of stuff on the internet about traveling and the 14th Amendment and horse and buggies and even maritime law. But
I mean,
all of those
an
things are not true.
automobile was actually created before a driver's license was ever created. So people
Okay.
was actually operating their case pamphlets where people was actually operating vehicles before a driver's license ever became.
Here's where it gets wild. The defendant drops his favorite sovereign buzzword, the so-called right to travel. He quotes the 14th Amendment like it grants him immunity from traffic stops. But the prosecutor shuts it down with hard history. Cars didn't even exist when the amendment was ratified. It's a brutal fact check in real time. What the defendant claims is constitutional freedom is nothing more than internet myth, and the courtroom sees right through it.
Yeah, you guys are actually a conflict of interest, actually, as far as you being in cahoots with the DMV. That's a totally separate entity.
Okay,
And for
so
some
Mr.
reason,
Resto, do you want to resolve the case, because it's
I
not going
want
to
to
be
resolve the
40
case, but
hours of
I disagree with the fine amount because it changed. I would
it,
pay I would make an offer like I can do $1,000, maybe 12-month probation,
Mr.
but
Resto.
$2,000 that's excessive.
Mr. Resto, we're not negotiating. Those are statutory fines, meaning they're written into the law. I can't even change them.
Can I make a counter offer to the state and say it's $1,000? That can I be?
No,
Because I did do
sir.
time in jail. If the state would see that
Well,
and count.
that's why I'm saying that you may want to speak with an attorney, because certain things that they can negotiate, I can't change the statute. I can't change what's written in it, but they can negotiate. And if the solicitor wants to give you credit for time in jail in lieu of the fine, those are things that they can do that I can't do.
Yeah. So I would ask to the district attorney, knowing that I did serve some days in jail, can you guys
Okay.
lower the fine and I just go ahead and end this
So,
case right now?
Mr. Resto, so that's a conversation that you need to have with them directly without me being present, number one. Number two, the reason I keep saying you might want to go through your attorney is because they can explain to you what is already on the table and how that may or may not change, okay?
What's on the table now, man?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I would rather you have that conversation in a breakout room with the attorney who's assigned to your case and with the state, as opposed to here in the main room. One, because I have other cases that need to be addressed, and two, because that's not information I need to hear.
Okay, is it anything I can do to get this case resolved now? Because it's been lingering on.
I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening, Mr. Resto. Mr. Resto,
I mean, today, like I want to resolve this today.
I get that you want to resolve it today, and I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening to me. I said you can go into a breakout room with your attorney, and the attorney and you can discuss what's already on the table. And then if your attorney wishes to speak with the state to clarify anything, they can do that too. But you're not going to get it resolved by going back and forth with me, because there's stuff I cannot do.
Okay. Just tell the state that I'll take their recommendation. I'll just pay the $2,000 if they can give me 12 months to pay it off. And if I pay it off early, if my probation can be terminated, that would be great.
The judge delivers a crushing reality check with a simple, devastating example. What if someone slammed into your car and killed your family? Would you still argue police shouldn't interfere? The defendant stumbles, twisting himself into contradictions. This is the heart of why sovereign arguments collapse. When held against real-world consequences, they fall apart instantly. The courtroom watches as logic slices through his hollow claims with surgical precision.
Discussing with Mr. Resto, and I understand something changed about his bond.
Okay. He has bonds with two bondsmen. I don't know of anything. Did somebody come off a bond?
Your Honor, maybe I can address that question.
Okay.
Mr. Resto, our office filed a motion to revoke bond, and that motion was granted a rule nisi, and it was calendared. That motion didn't happen because of the pandemic. It was, I believe, scheduled to happen in 2021, maybe February, but somewhere about that time. I informed Mr. Kamani to inform his client that depending on the outcome of today's arraignment, the state intends to move forward on that bond revocation. Your Honor, may I make a request on that matter?
Sure, Mr. Taylor.
I'd request that the defendant show in person for him. Zoom court is or remote appearance is not sufficient.